Okay, hello students. In this video, I am going to discuss the topic of photosynthesis as you can see here. And this photosynthesis topic is based on the class 7 standard. Okay, because the same topic of photosynthesis is also there in higher classes. Okay, like in class 11, photosynthesis is there. So I'll be making separate video on photosynthesis of 11th standard. Okay, so this is exclusively for class 7 standard students. Okay, photosynthesis. Before I start with the topic discussion in details, okay, one thing I would like to say that please, the students, please sit with your a pen, pencil, copy, so that you can write down all the important points, and you can also practice the diagrams that I am going to draw on the board. Okay, whichever field if you like to write, and I'll be explaining things whichever you want. You can jot down the important definitions, important concepts, facts. Okay, so photosynthesis. Before getting into the topic of photosynthesis, two important terms for us. Number one, autotrophic and heterotrophic. So almost all of us have idea about what is autotrophic and what is heterotrophic, right? So autotrophic is, we know that it's a mode of nutrition where organism can make their own food, right? They can make their own food. So they are not depending on other organisms for the food. So can make their own food. Okay, can make their own food. Now a little bit more about this. Now who can make their own food? Okay, just one second. Okay, so the organism who can make their own food, right? Now who are the organisms can make their own food? These are the, as we know, the plants, the green plants who can make their own food. They have the capacity to make their own food, and the food is not only for the own, for the plants for their own. The food that is prepared by the plants are actually used up by all living organisms of this universe, of this world. Okay, so all the living organisms directly and indirectly depends on the food that is made by the plant. So plant is making food not only for themselves, it is utilized by all the living organisms. So we all are surviving because of the food made by the plants, directly or indirectly. Okay, but apart from the plants, one more information is there are some bacteria which also can make their own food. Okay, now because they have chlorophyll, we know that chlorophyll is the most important you can say chemical component or pigment which is required for photosynthesis to trap the solar energy. The same pigment is also found in some bacteria cell wall. Okay, so those bacteria can also make their own food. Fine. Now heterotrophic organisms, heterotrophic means they cannot, the organisms, they cannot make their own food. So cannot make food. Okay, cannot make their own food, so depend on other organisms for their food, whether it is a plant or it is an animal. It is an animal. Okay, so these heterotrophic organisms depend on other for their food. Like we take food from the plant resources, also from the animal resources also. So it means that we are depending on the plants and other animals for their food. So all the living organisms except plant, okay, they depend on each other for their food. Okay, because they cannot make their food on their own. Understood? The raw materials of the food is made by the plants only. Okay. So the omnivorous means the organisms who can eat, who eats plant resource, animal resource, all. So like we human beings, so we are heterotrophs. Okay, carnivorous, tiger or other animals Okay, no, they cannot make their own food, so they depend on the green plants mainly for the food. So this is the autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, now I am going to this topic of this photosynthesis. Okay, see the term of photo. See the definitions that is given in the book. It is not necessary that you have to mug up the sentence, the definition that is written in the book. You have to understand the concept, okay, and if you can make the definitions on your own, if you can write, if you can explain about something on your own, from your own understanding, that is better, on your own language also. Understood? So the photo means what? Photo means light, right? One second just. So photo means we know that light. Now which light it is? We are talking about the sunlight or solar energy, right? So it is the sunlight or solar energy which is trapped by the plants. Now synthesis. Synthesis meaning is, synthesize means production. Production. Okay. So with the help of light or sunlight, okay, food is produced. The production of food by the plant. So the process, so from here we can make the definition that with the help of sunlight, okay, plants make their own food, produce their own food. This is what the photosynthesis. Okay, simple. Okay, now next, the next is that we will see that what are the raw materials required by the plants, okay, to make this food. Okay, so let's rub this and let me make points here. So the raw materials which are required to make the food. So number one, what is number one? Number one, as we have seen here, sunlight. Okay, sunlight, which is very, very important. This is the source of energy. You know, the solar radiation or the sunlight is the one and only source of energy for all the, you know, for the whole universe, you can say. Okay, everything getting energy, ultimate energy from the solar radiation or the sunlight. So do the plants also. Okay, this is the first point. What is the second point? Okay, one more information here. See, the sunlight, we can say the solar energy. Okay, so what happens here? It is the solar energy, okay, that is trapped, okay, and converted into chemical energy. Chemical energy. Okay. Now number 2 point, what is required? Sunlight, and then we require here CO2 from the atmosphere. Okay, which is very, very important. Carbon dioxide. Okay, the actual amount of carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere is 0.03%. So this much of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and the plants absorb this carbon dioxide. Okay, the any amount more than this, okay, is going to affect badly our atmosphere, our environment. That is why the more this global warming concept, you know, everything that is the source, is the main source is the carbon dioxide, increasing amount of carbon dioxide. Understood? So this carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is absorbed by the plant. This is your one additional information for you, is that see our vehicles, okay, industries, okay, fuel burning, as we say that, okay, they produce what? After burning they produce carbon dioxide. So more and more carbon dioxides are producing in the atmosphere, in our environment. So what actually happening? As a result of which, more the carbon dioxide, more the warming of it. So because this carbon dioxide molecules, they trap the energy, means solar energy. The heat is trapped by the carbon dioxide. So the global warming. Now I am saying is that plants absorb carbon dioxide. Okay, it means as we are producing, okay, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, who are the organisms that absorb and can help us to reduce the carbon dioxide? Is the plants actually. So this is here the importance of plants, the most important, you know, importance of plant apart from the oxygen. Okay, it absorbs carbon dioxide. Understood? It is why it is said that the Amazon forest is known as the lungs of the earth. Why? because Amazon is the dense forest, okay, full of plants. It absorbs the carbon dioxide from the environment. So most of the, you can say most of the amount of carbon dioxide is absorbed by the Amazon. Understood? So plants are so important here. So CO2 is absorbed by the plants, okay, to make their own food. Okay. What next? Number 3, water is compulsory. That is the plant absorb water from the soil with the help of its root. Okay. Number 4 is the, we will see about the chlorophyll. Okay, about the chlorophyll. Okay, so chlorophyll is what? Chlorophyll is the color pigment. Okay, chlorophyll is the color pigment, okay, that traps the solar energy, okay, that absorb the solar energy or that trap the solar energy. Understood? So it is present. Where do you see the chlorophyll pigments? We see the chlorophyll pigments in the leaves of the plant. Okay, so the chlorophyll green pigments, you can say, that trap the solar energy. Understood? So these are the 4 important raw materials which are required for the photosynthesis. So on the basis of these raw materials, now we are going to see what is the equation that comes, okay, in photosynthesis. Let's see the equation. This is very important to note down. Okay, okay, fine. Let us see the equation. Okay, now remember, before writing the equation, let me, there are 2 types of equation we can write. One is word equation, one is chemical equation. Understood? Now word equation means we will be writing the molecules which are involved in photosynthesis in words. The name I will be writing. Like, let me write it. Okay, word equation, how to write? So carbon dioxide is required. So let's write here carbon dioxide. Okay, so carbon dioxide is 1. Okay, then plus what is required? Water. So water is required here. So carbon dioxide and water is required, right? Now what next? Okay, let's give the arrow here. Okay, just 1 second. So it's an arrow here. Okay, now this on the top I'll be writing here sunlight. I'll be writing here sunlight. Okay, and then what I will write? I will write here chlorophyll. Okay, these 2 are involved in this process. Now what is there produced is the glucose. Number 1 is glucose is produced. Okay, plus what is produced? Plus oxygen is produced. Okay, oxygen is produced and water is also released. Now see, this is what I have written this side. This is the arrow in between. What we are writing on the left of the arrow, okay, are the reactants. Chemically we call them as reactants. Okay, on the right of the arrow what we are writing are the products. Understood? And sunlight which is required and chlorophyll which is involved in the process to trap the energy. So this is what this is called word equation. Okay, wordings. We have expressed the reaction of photosynthesis in wordings, in word form. This is word equation. Okay. Now the same thing if I write in the chemical equation. When I mention the chemical equation, I have to write the chemical formula of the molecules that are involved here. Okay. So CO2, carbon dioxide. So let me write here CO2. CO2 is involved here plus what? Water. So H2O. Okay. Now giving the arrow, the same I am keeping here sunlight and chlorophyll. Okay. Sunlight and chlorophyll is there. What next? Glucose. Glucose C6H12O6. Okay. Plus oxygen O2 and plus water H2O. Understood? This is what I have written here. This is the chemical equation of photosynthesis. Okay. Now, if we need to complete it properly, if you want to write the chemical equation, we have to the number of molecules which are involved in the process of photosynthesis. Now, carbon dioxide, 6 molecule of carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. 12 molecule of water is required for photosynthesis. okay, 1 molecule of glucose is produced, not more than that. Okay, after utilizing this number of molecules, you are getting only 1 molecule of glucose. Okay, and oxygen, 6 molecule of oxygen is produced, 6 molecule of water is released. Understood? Now this oxygen, this is what the complete proper chemical equation. Now remember one thing, this is the food which is made. Okay, this is what we are looking for as a result of photosynthesis. So this is the food that is made. Now this oxygen which is produced here, this oxygen is not required by the plant anymore. Now when something is not required by the body of living organism, it becomes the waste for the body. Like same thing happens in our body also, which is not required for my body, that becomes what? The waste. The same thing happens in case of oxygen here also. So the oxygen, what? Oxygen will be released from the plant body. Okay, that is here, we will be giving here an arrow. Oh, out, not towards upside. It means that oxygen is going to be released out in the atmosphere. Understood? Now this water can also be released. Some excess amount of water will be also released out from the plant cell, that we will see later on. So this is what the chemical equation of photosynthesis. Okay, this is also for you to note down. It is important for you. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, where I have selected in a list I have made here, that I have kept some of the points. This is very important for me to do that, because what happens is that the same topic we teach in higher classes also. So without following the proper points given in the syllabus of class 7, otherwise we may cover something extra which is not required for you. So that's why we have to list down the points which are covered in the syllabus of this particular class. Fine. So after this chemical equation, I am going to discuss with you. Okay, this chlorophyll I am going to discuss now with you. Okay, so let's rub it first. Okay, now the chloroplast. Okay, the chloroplast is actually what? We have heard the term plastid. Okay, if not, let me tell you, plastids are cell organelles which are found in the plant cell. Plant cell, in a normal cell, inside there is cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm there is nucleus. Apart from the nucleus, there are some other organelles present. One of those are the plastids, which are found only in the plant cell. Okay. Now these plastids are of again 3 different types. Okay, but you need to know only one. That is the chloroplast. The rest 2 are chromoplast and leucoplast, which is not required for you. So plastids, one of the type is chloroplast. Chloroplast. So chloroplast is nothing but a plastid. Okay. Now this chloroplast, it contains what? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. Okay. So chlorophyll is the pigment. Chemically, it's a pigment. Okay, which traps the solar energy and also reflect color. Which color? Green color. Okay, so all the green parts of the plant, okay, is because of this chlorophyll. The color is because of the chlorophyll, the presence of chlorophyll pigment, because it reflects green color, and also it traps all the solar energy. Okay, and there it is utilized for the purpose of photosynthesis. Now one more term is there, that from where, which is the part from where the solar energy gets inside, or you can say the carbon dioxide is absorbed through what? Okay, there must be some specific sites in the plant leaves, on the plant leaves specifically. Okay, because these are the main basic greenery parts. Okay, now this for example the carbon dioxide, okay, which is trapped, so it must enter inside the plant cell. Okay, it is absorbed then. Now there are some specific openings which are there on the leaf surface, known as stomata or stomatal pore, which are the openings on the leaf surface. Okay, through those openings, okay, the carbon dioxide is absorbed, oxygen is released out by the same pore, that is stomatal pore or stomata. Okay, now this is the primary function of the stomata, that is a gaseous exchange. Okay, carbon dioxide is taken from the atmosphere, and at the end of photosynthesis, the oxygen is released out in the atmosphere through this stomata. Now the second function, after this primary function, the second function of this stomata is transpiration. Okay, so let me write it. So first, primary function of stomata is what? I said gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange. Okay, what is the second function? Second function is the transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but the releasing of excess water from the plant cell. Releasing of excess water from the plant cell. This excess water is not required by the plant. That is released out in the form of water vapor. Because when the water is there in that cell, it is in the water molecule form, water droplets. Water droplets. But then it is released out in the atmosphere in the form of water vapor. Okay, that is the transpiration. Understood? So these are the two functions that takes place through the stomata. Fine. Now I am going to draw a diagram, okay, which is important, very important for you to practice. Okay, some of the students who asked me that they feel like little difficulty in drawing the diagram. That is the section of a leaf where some important parts present in the leaves are shown. Understood? Now I am going to draw that diagram, that is section of a leaf. Okay, and I want you also to draw the diagram step by step as I am going to draw here, so that you will be able to learn how to draw it, and then twice or thrice just need a practice. Okay, then you will also be able to draw the diagram. Okay, so section of a leaf I am going to draw now, where some very important labelings also there. Okay, let's start. Okay. First, the section of a leaf that is cut. Okay, so how that looks like. Let me draw here, please. A a box kind of shape I have to draw first. Okay, this is a section of a leaf. Okay, now so 1, 2, 3 sides we can see here. This is the lower part, this is the upper surface of the leaf, this is the lower surface of the leaf. I have drawn this in this way so that it can be easier for you to understand. This is the upper surface, you can see. This is the lower part here. This is one side, this is another side. Okay. So 3 sides are actually clearly visible from this angle. Now I am going to use a separate color so that it will be easier for you to understand. At the upper surface, okay, this is what I have drawn here, known as the cuticle. Okay, the same cuticle layer, this is a cuticular layer, you can say. So the layering that present on both the surface of the leaf, at the upper surface and at the lower surface of the leaf. Okay, so this the thin layer on the outer part, outer surface of the upper part and the lower part both. Okay, so here also the lower part, obviously you can see that it is not possible to show the cuticle, so I am just drawing the layer from this side. Understood? So on both the sides, upper surface and lower surface, we see the cuticle layer. Okay, so you can just write here that cuticle at the upper surface, okay, and this is also here cuticle at the lower surface of the leaf. Done. Now the next layer. Next layer, which is also present on both the surface of the leaf, at the upper surface and also at the lower surface. Okay, the same also present here. On both the surface we see this layering here. Now I am going to label them. Okay, this is actually the epidermis. We call them as epidermis. Epidermis. Okay, in the at upper surface. Okay, and epidermis here also. This is epidermis. So epidermis at the lower surface. Understood? Now what is the meaning? Acha, let me tell you before moving forward. Okay, let me tell the meaning of the labeling that I have drawn here. Cuticle. Now what is cuticle? What is the function of cuticle? Cuticle is a waxy layer. It's a waxy layer made up of waxy material, okay, present on the upper surface and the lower surface both. And the cuticular layer may be thin in some plants of leaves and may be thick also in some leaves. Basically, the function of cuticular layer is to control the transpiration rate. Transpiration, what did I say? It is the releasing of the excess amount of water, right? Now, if the cuticular layer is thick, then the transpiration would be less. And if the cuticular layer is thin, transpiration it will be more. So mainly the desert plants, xerophytic plants, you can say the desert plants, the cuticular layer is very thick, so it reduces transpiration because already there that area lacks water. So if more the transpiration, because of desert is a heated area, more hot weather, so there is tendency for more of transpiration. So if cuticular layer becomes thick, transpiration will be reduced. There will be no loss of water, because in those plants in desert areas, okay, storing of water inside the plant cell is very important. That's why the thick cuticular layer present there, that prevents more of transpiration. Fine. Now epidermis. Epi means outer. Okay, this epi term. Epi means outer, dermis means layer. So it is the outer layer, epidermis, on both the sides. Now the next labeling. These are some of the cells present here. Okay, and you can see the arrangement of the cells that I have drawn here, compact in nature. There is no much gap. Okay, so these are the palisade parenchyma or palisade mesophils, you can say. Palisade mesophil cell. Okay, the arrangement is very compact. Now within this palisade cells, okay, there are some more structures present. Okay, what are those? Let me first draw those. You can see there is dotted structures I am drawing. Let me draw first, then I will tell you what are these. So So I hope you are also practicing the same diagram with me. Okay, please do it so that it will help you to learn that how I am drawing, so that you can also be able to draw it later on. Just need once or twice the practice of this same diagram. If you can do, okay, so it will be done for you. And this is very, very important to know the diagram. Diagram teaches us to understand the actual scenario in reality. What is it? Okay, otherwise theoretically it only gives a theoretical concept. But if we understand the diagram, we will get a practical idea. Now see, I have given some dots inside the palisade mesophyll cells. What are these? Let me label it. These dots are nothing but chloroplasts. So we already know what are chloroplasts, right? The plastids where inside each of these dots, means inside each of these chloroplasts, what are present? Chlorophyll pigments are present. You should not forget these points. Okay, it means these are the cells, these are the areas where these chloroplasts are present, and these are the cells where the solar energy is trapped or absorbed, because chlorophyll is present there. Okay, now next, some more cells are present here, but they are not that compact arrangement here. There are gaps in between the arrangement of the cells. Okay, okay, so they are loosely packed, the arrangement of the cell. There are gaps in between the cells. Okay, these are the spongy mesophyll, spongy mesophyll. There are gaps in between. Understood? Now, apart from this, okay, one very important labeling is at left. What is that? Okay, I have made some gaps here. Okay, so you can see here some gaps I have made at the lower surface particularly. Okay, these are stomata. These are stomata, or you can say stomatal pore or stomatal opening. Okay, so these are the locations where the stomata are present. So why only at the lower surface? This picture, this indicates that most of the stomata, the number of stomata are more at the lower surface of the leaf. In the upper surface also stomata are present, but very less. But at the lower surface of the leaf, we see more the number of the stomata. There is a reason behind it. Okay, because see, suppose this is a leaf surface, this is the upper surface and lower surface. So at the lower surface more the stomata, and upper surface less. It helps in reducing. It helps the transpiration to keep under control. Because the stomata which are at the upper surface, they are exposed directly to the sunlight, so there are chances more of transpiration. But the lower surface, if there are number more of stomata, so they are not in direct exposure to the sunlight, so the transpiration will be controlled. Understood? So this is the reason behind the number of stomata are present at the lower surface of the leaf. Okay, so this is the diagram of the section of a leaf. with some important labeling. This is it of the diagram. Okay, so please do practice. It's very important. I don't think it's much difficult. Okay, the steps you have seen, which step is the next, what I am drawing first, what next. Okay. Now the next topic that I am going to share with you is the stomata. Particularly we will be seeing how the stomata looks like. There is a specific diagram of stomata also. This is just here shown where the stomata are located. Now we need to see how they look like. Okay. Before to go to the stomata, let me tell you, stomata are actually made up of two bean-shaped guard cells. Okay. Two bean-shaped guard cells, okay, they form the stomata. Now there are two situations. When the cell sap enters into the guard cell sap means what? Cell sap means water and minerals of the plant. When the cell sap enters into the guard cells, what happens? The cell sap, the cells, they swells up. When water enters into us, what will happen? It will swell up, right? The swelling up. This is called turgid condition or turgidity. So when the cell sap enters into the guard cells becomes turgid, swells up. As a result of which the stomatal pore opens, because stomatal pore is present in between two guard cells. And when the cell sap comes out of the released from the guard cell, it constricts. The cells constricts. That is called flaccid condition, flaccidity. As a result of which, what happens is that the stomatal pore closes. So these two situations I am going to show you. Okay. The first diagram. These are the two bean-shaped cells. Okay. So let's label it. These are the what? Okay. Before labeling it, there are some more cells here. So these are the guard cells. I'll be labeling this. Okay. And around the guard cell, there are epidermis layering. Okay, you can see the stomata here and the epidermis layering here. The same thing, the epidermis cells are there. So these are the guard cells, G-U-A-R-D, guard cells, bean shaped, and this layering is the epidermis layering. Epidermis layering. Okay. Now these two guard cells, in between you can see the free space here inside. This is what the stomatal pore. Okay, or you can say stomatal opening. This is the condition where, this is the condition that I have drawn here, is a turgid condition. Turgid condition. During turgidity, okay, the cell sap enters here, swells up, and the pore opens. Stomatal pore opens here. First picture. Okay. Now second one. The place, I have very less space here. I am just drawing here only, just to show that condition. Okay. Same epidermis layer on the outer part of the stomata, the guard cells. Understood? So now see this area. So the gap is very less here, which is closed also. Okay, so this is the condition of flaccidity. So this is the figure of flaccidity. So when the cells are released from the guard cells, it constricts and the stomatal pore closes. This is opening here, opened the stomatal pore, this is stomatal pore closing. Okay, so two different picture. Understood? Now, I have shown you the two conditions when how the stomata looks like. Okay, now the most important thing I am going to show you in the guard cells. Okay, as these are the two cells here, so there must be nucleus inside the cells. So let me show you the nucleus here in both the cells. I am not doing this here, just I am showing here. Okay, so two nucleus is there. Apart from the nucleus, what is present? So let me label it. This is the nucleus. Okay, what else present here? You also see here vacuoles. Inside the cell, vacuoles are there. So these are vacuoles. Okay, vacuoles are present in the plant cell. Okay, they play very important role for the storage of the cell sap. Okay, storing site. One more important thing is left here. Inside these guard cells also we see chloroplasts. Okay, so chloroplast also seen in the guard cells. So again labeling here, this is the chloroplasts present in the guard cell. Okay, so this is the guard cell. All the labeling is done. The epidermis layer also target condition. The stomatal pore open here, stomatal pore closing here. Understood? So this is all about the two diagrams. Okay, for today this much is only. Understood? So in the next topic, next video when I will be making, then I will show the whatever the next topics in the syllabus of your class. I will discuss that. So these two pictures, please do practice it. Okay, and I hope whatever we have I have discussed today, it is understood. If anything left, you can always ask me questions. Okay, thank you.